Thanks, James. Thanks to the organiser of the event, and thank you to all of you for coming along to hear the Liontown story. Liontown is a battery metal focused company, and today I'll be talking about our 3 projects in Australia. I won't be going over why our primary focus is lithium, or why lithium is such a fabulous commodity to be, and I think Saul Eslake and Ken Brinston did a fine job of that yesterday, and I don't need to repeat what they said, but I certainly agree with what they said. Okay, so this is where we are. We have the We have the 2 lithium projects in Western Australia, and we have the vanadium project in the fair state of Queensland. Our most advanced project is Kathleen Valley, where we've already defined extensive lithium mineralisation through about 12,000 metres of drilling completed this year so far, and we're still resource drilling. Our objective at Kathleen Valley is to complete the resource drilling by about the end of June and have a resource statement out sometime in the 3rd quarter of 2018. The Buldania lithium project in southern Western Australia, we've only had this project 6 months. It just demonstrates how quick we can move when we have the opportunity to do so. We've done 1 drilling program, and we've made a significant new lithium discovery in Western Australia, results of up to 58 metres of 1.2% lithium oxide. Obviously, the primary objectives here this year is to get back, fully delineate this mineralised system, and then move seamlessly into a resource drill out. So we're sort of hoping to have that out by the end of this year as well. At the Toolabuck project in northwest Queensland, there's been a lot of historic work there. Historic drilling has already defined extensive vanadium mineralisation on our ground. The plan here, or the objectives here, are to validate the historic results, take the new data, combine it with the old data, and again come up with a resource by the end of the year. I'm often asked why Liontown compared with all the other busted ass juniors on the ASX. Well, I think there's 2 reasons why Liontown stands out from a lot of the other companies. We're the only junior explorer in the lithium space in Australia that is drilling beneath spodumene-bearing pegmatites, which are the right sort of pegmatites. We're also aiming to have produced or released 3 maiden resources on 3 separate projects before the end of this year, so I think that makes us. I'm not sure if anyone else is planning to do that going forward. So Kathleen Valley, it's in central Western Australia. It's about 700 kilometres northeast of Perth. It's located in the northeastern goldfields of Western Australia. Infrastructure is fantastic. We're right next to transport, energy and camp infrastructure. We're resource drilling there at the moment. We have multiple pegmatites. Mineralisation is high grade, it outcrops, and it is open. We've defined 2 prospects, Mount Mann and Kathleen's Corner, and importantly, which gives us a huge head start over a lot of projects, is we're located on granted mining leases, which will save us probably 1 to 2 years in the process of going from discovery to development. The first prospect is Kathleen's Corner. Here we've delineated continuous high-grade mineralisation over 800 metres of strike. The northern part is under shallow cover. The system is open to the north, the system's open to the south, and it's open down dip. This is what it looks like in cross-section. We have multiple shallow dipping pegmatites. On that section alone, there's 3 robust pegmatites. You can see there that some really nice numbers: 21 metres of almost 2%, 20 metres of 1.5%, 18 metres of 1.6%, and within those intervals, there's nice high-grade cores of plus 2%. We've only drilled this down to about 125, 130 metres vertical depth, but because of that dip, that equates to 450 metres of down dip mineralisation, so it's quite a significant slab of mineralisation in that section, or multiple slabs of mineralisation. We also think, I'll talk about Mount Mann in a couple of slides, but we also think we're seeing the down dip extension of these pegmatites in the deeper drill holes at our Mount Mann prospect to the southwest. This is what it looks like. Good, competent, chunky core. Then when you do a close-up, you can see the reason it's so high grade is it's just packed full of spodumene crystals, which is the lithium mineral that you want to discover and process. Okay, the other prospect at Kathleen Valley is the Mount Mann prospect. This is literally only 200 metres away from Kathleen's Corner, so it's very close. In fact, you can see the Kathleen Corner pegmatites. Whoops, wrong one, sorry. That's the Kathleen's Corner pegmatites up there. So we're very close to Kathleen's Corner. Again, we've defined higher grade continuous mineralisation over about 650 metres of strike. And again, we're dealing with multiple stacked pegmatites, good grades, good widths, and as I said, in the deeper parts of these holes, you can see the Kathleen's Corner pegmatite. Oh, you bastard. I'll get there. Okay, so in the deeper parts of these holes, you can see these are the Kathleen's Corner pegmatites coming across. When you think about it, it's about 700 metres from there across to Kathleen's Corner. So, you know, obviously a very large mineralised system at Kathleen Valley. So we're resource drilling. As I said before, we hope to have that resource drilling done by June and a resource statement out by sometime in the third quarter of this year. Because of the continuity of the pegmatites is so good between sections and drill holes, we're hoping a large element part of that resource is going to be in the measured and indicated category, which means we'll be able to follow it up with a financial scoping study. At Baldania, it's in the southern part of Western Australia. Again, infrastructure is fantastic. Our main prospect is located just to the north of the Air Highway, the main east-west corridor across Australia. We're also located only 30 kilometres east of Norseman and the main railway line that goes down to the mineral exporting port of Esperance, which is 200 kilometres away. It's also located in the same region as Mount Marion and the Bald Hill lithium deposits, so it's got quite a good pedigree, and it has identical geological setting to those deposits. I'll refer back to Bald Hill later in the presentation, so if you just take note of where it is, it's about 60 kilometres north of the Baldania prospect. Like I said, we only picked this up. We've only had this project for 6 months. We've done one drill program, and we've had a 100% hit rate so far. We've made a brand new lithium discovery. You can see multiple intersections listed there. I won't read them out, but basically the system is completely open to the east, and this just shows the outcropping part of or subcropping part of the pegmatite that we've drilled. In contrast to Kathleen Valley, this is more of a complex beast. It's going to take a lot more drilling to make sense of it. But you can see there's some nice intersections, 58 metres of 1.2%, for instance, and including 20 metres of 1.6. So again, there's some nice high-grade stuff in this. Again, it's spodumene. And it might be complex, but just to give you an idea, at the surface here we have a 100-metre wide zone of mineralised pegmatite. So it's certainly worth the effort of drilling this out. So the plan here is to delineate the full size and shape of the Anna pegmatite, and then follow that up fairly quickly with a resource drill out on whatever spacing we need to do to come up with a resource. In addition to Anna, there's a number of other targets at Baldania which we're keen to get into. Okay, moving to closer to where we are now, the vanadium project in northwest Queensland. We acquired this project last year by pegging ground in our own name. We had an early tip on the vanadium was an up-and-coming battery metal. We went to this part of the world for a couple of reasons. The main reason is that another company, Intamin, had already defined very large vanadium resources in excess of 2 billion tonnes. So we went there, we pegged a whole bunch of ground next door to Intamin, and we also pegged areas of the outcropping Toolabuck Formation. The Toolabuck Formation is the host to the vanadium mineralisation and critical to the whole project. Intamin in March this year, much to our joy, released updated vanadium resources. Their previous resources were 2004 compliant. They've come out in March with 2012 compliant resources. They've got in excess of 2 billion tonnes of resource that basically adjoin our tenement boundaries. The other reason we're there is it's, again, very close to infrastructure. Intamin have stated that they're going to focus on the Lilyvale resource, which is this one here. The reason being that there's multiple reasons. One, it's higher grade. Two, it's closer to infrastructure. And three, it's shallow. Now, when you zoom in on the Lilyvale resource, this is what it looks like. We have the Toolabuck resource sitting over here on the western tenement boundary. 700 million tonnes of 0.35% vanadium oxide. Historic drilling shows that this resource or this mineralisation continues onto our ground. So there we have a 5 by 3 kilometre area grading about 0.35%, and it's open to the north and to the east. So what we want to do here is we want to validate these historic results, take the old data, combine it with the new data, and come up with a JORC compliant resource before the end of the year. As you can see, it's a nice mining proposition. The mineralisation is hosted by a shallow flat-lying sheet, 10 to 20 metres deep. It's free digging basically. The issue here is not going to be resources, it's going to be metallurgy. So we want to do more metallurgical test work this year as well. And why vanadium? Well, quickly the price has tripled in the last year or so. It's all about vanadium flow batteries. So they're becoming more popular. They're existing technology, it's not a new technology, and they're becoming very popular in China. This slide shows the potential upside for Liontown, and it's based entirely on our lithium assets. It doesn't include the vanadium. If you look at existing developers and miners and you compare their market capitalisation with their existing resources, and if, for instance, I mentioned Bald Hill, highlighted in green there, Alliance and Tawana, together they own the Bald Hill deposit. They're in the process of merging, but their combined market cap's about $450 million on a 19 million tonne resource at 1.2%. Our exploration target at Kathleen Valley is 10 to 15 million tonnes at 1 to 1.5%, and this is based on known dimensions. We're not making this up. So similar order of magnitude. So if we can come out in August, September this year with a resource of a similar order of magnitude as, say, Bald Hill, and they're a mine, I'm not pretending that we'll get to 400 million, but hopefully we'll see a significant re-rating in the value of Liontown. I'd be happy with 200 million, to be honest with you, but there's some significant upside for the company going forward based on our lithium assets alone. Okay, just to conclude, so just to repeat, we have the 3 projects, 2 lithium projects, 1 vanadium project. We're resource drilling at Kathleen Valley. We will be resource drilling, or we're doing resource work at the other 2 prospects. So we're a company, one of the few companies, I think the only company drilling beneath, or junior explorer, drilling beneath spodumene-bearing pegmatites, the right sort of pegmatites. We're also, I don't know of any other company that's planning to release three maiden resources between now and the end of this year on 3 different projects. And we also have the financial capacity to maintain our momentum going forward. And that's it. You can follow us on a range of social media if you'd like, and you're welcome to do that in your own time. But thank you very much.